With Nintendo Switch games now seemingly falling out of print and not many new Switch games being on the horizon, all signs point towards a new Nintendo system launching this year in 2024. Whether it will be a Switch 2 or not remains to be seen. Before we get started with my 10 launch title predictions, please consider subscribing to be entered into a raffle to win a Nintendo Switch OLED. The winner will be announced on the 31st of January. Starting out at number 10 with something very obvious, we're going to go with Xenoblade Chronicles X, which has been predicted for release in almost every single Nintendo Direct since Chronicles Definitive Edition was released back in 2020. For those not aware, it's basically a massive open world mech game currently stranded on the Wii U. It's also one of the few Nintendo properties that have not had a remaster after their initial release on the Wii U. Pikmin 3, Breath of the Wild, Bayonetta 2, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Hyrule Warriors and Mario Kart 8 to name a few. There's roughly 30 Wii U games that have been ported. Considering how ambitious Xenoblade Chronicles X was on the Wii U, it would likely suit the Switch 2 to reach its maximum potential. Coming in at number 9 is another obvious one, it's Metroid Prime 4, which has been in development for so long and very little information has been released about it since its announcement nearly 7 years ago. Currently all we know is that the original idea was scrapped and Retro Studios took over development. Nintendo has since garnered a lot of interest for the Metroid series in the years since, with the release of Metroid Dread and a remaster of the original Metroid Prime. I do expect we will see Metroid Prime 2 and 3 before the 4th iteration is released, however. At number 8 we have a Breath of the Wild remaster. This is the first one on the list I'm fairly confident with. The first concrete rumours of a Switch successor popped up last year at Gamescom, where Nintendo were allegedly showing a souped up version of Breath of the Wild to developers. It's important to note that Nintendo denied these rumours, but the same people also denied that their successor would be 3D, so take it with a pinch of salt. Wii and Switch both launched with Zelda titles and went on to sell over 100 million units. I think they could do it a third time. At number 7 we have an Ocarina of Time remake. So keeping with Zelda, and I promise this will be the last Zelda portion of the video, 2024 will mark Ocarina of Time 3D being the same age as Ocarina of Time when Ocarina of Time 3D was released. Oh, that's a mouthful. Considering Ocarina of Time being the crown jewel of gaming, and considering Ocarina of Time this year will be 25 years old, I think it would be nice if Nintendo did a ground up remake, bringing the game into the 21st century and moving away from the open world nature of new Zelda games for a bit. At number 6 we have Mario Kart 8 Complete Edition. Now I'm playing this one very safe. Mario Kart 8 is an old game that has had some long legs. It's going down in the history books as the best selling racing game of all time and the best Mario Kart of all time, taking over my previous favourite, Double Dash. After the initial release on the Wii U with the DLC, they released a deluxe version on the Switch. And we thought that would be it. And we thought we would see another Mario Kart soon. That did not happen. And we instead got DLC with 48 new tracks. It would make sense to re-release Mario Kart 8 as a complete package at the launch on the Switch 2 with upscaling to bring it more in line with modern games. But don't get me wrong, Mario Kart 8 is an absolutely beautiful game. Coming in at number 5 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The Switch marks the first time a Call of Duty game hasn't been released on a Nintendo home console since the series originally launched on the GameCube. And so those who can't afford multiple consoles and only had a Switch have actually missed out on nearly 10 years worth of Call of Duty games. With Microsoft having bought Activision Blizzard, they have also publicly said they plan to bring Call of Duty back to Nintendo systems. Time will tell if the quality will be there, however. At number 4 we have an unusual one with Wario World 2. It's been a long time since we saw an entry in the Wario Land and World series. Wario is currently at risk of falling into obscurity, being reduced to simply being a playable character in sports games such as golf and tennis. The only notable entries in the Wario series is the Ware games. I feel a launch title Wario game will be perfect to relaunch the Wario brand and give people what they want. Waluigi though? It's never happening. Coming in at number 3 is the Nintendo DS. This section was originally going to be dedicated to the GameCube, not the DS. However, the more I wrote about it, the less likely it became. Nintendo has been remastering a lot of GameCube games lately for the Switch, with Pikmin 1 and 2, Metroid Prime, Super Mario Sunshine, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is due for release later this year. Hence why I'm going with the Nintendo DS. I'm not sure how they will manage it. The next system would either need a taller screen or a double screen. Either way, I can't wait to play Metroid Prime Hunters again in the near future. Right, number 2 is one of my favourites. We need a new Star Fox game. Star Fox has had a rocky history, the first game being a cult classic, the second game getting cancelled even after it was completed, Star Fox 64 being released into obscurity, Star Fox Adventures being accused of not being Star Fox, the remake of 64 on the 3DS which again failed, and the eventual release of Star Fox 2 on the SNES, and then Star Fox Zero on the Wii U which failed commercially. For whatever reason, Nintendo just doesn't want to give up on their Fox, no matter how dire it gets. So yes, even if it's not at launch, a new Star Fox game is almost certainly going to be released after giving the Switch a miss entirely. It's worth noting, just so I don't get attacked in the comments, I know there are more Star Fox games, like a ton more. I just don't have time to list them all, sorry. Coming in at number 1 is Super Mario Odyssey sequel. Odyssey is considered by many, myself included, as the greatest Mario game ever made, and so it bodes well that we would get the long-rumoured sequel, which has allegedly been in development since the original release in 2017, almost 7 years ago. Currently we're hoping the sequel will be more of the same, with multiplayer, more cinematic, and a heavier focus on story coaxing off the success of the film. And now for some honourable mentions. It wouldn't be a Nintendo launch party without a party game. Seeing as Mario Party historically isn't released at launch, maybe we'll get 1-2 free Switch. It wouldn't be a shock to see an RPG on the launch lineup also. It won't be Fire Emblem, but maybe we'll get a modern remake of Golden Sun in 2.5D. And whatever the gimmick is of Nintendo's next system, you can be damn certain that at least one of the launch games will be made based entirely on those gimmicks, just like 1-2 Switch and ARMS did before. Okay, that's all from me. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and I'll catch you next week. Bye!